Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
A death investigation is underway at a neighborhood in Raleigh. Coming up, I'll tell you everything we know so far.
And it's feeling great out there this morning. Our dew point is way down here in the 50s, feeling very comfortable. I'll show you how long we'll have this nice taste of fall.
Plus, Wake County Schools is preparing parents for the new school year, which starts in less than a week. Today, we are talking about school meals. What's new when it comes to who will get free breakfast and lunch.
And a traffic alert for drivers along I-440. The big shift coming to the Beltline tonight and the ways that you can get around it. Thank you so much for joining us here on your beautiful Wednesday morning. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Chris Levingood. I'll co-sign that. It's a beautiful morning waking up here. It's almost like a fall morning as you're looking outside this morning. We have Elizabeth Gardner getting you a look at RDU today. And yeah, I mean, this is the day to bust out the jacket for a lot of people there, Elizabeth.
Yeah, you know, it's cool. Our temperatures have dropped into the mid to upper 50s in some places, low 60s in others. It looks absolutely gorgeous, though. So standing in the sun, it feels very comfortable, a little bit cool in the shade. And now we're getting into the 8 o'clock hour. Temperatures are starting to bounce up a little bit. So 64 degrees with a dew point of 57 still feels very comfortable. But we dropped down to 58 earlier this morning. Looking at more widespread 60s now, still 57 in Roxborough, but 60 in South Hill, 62 in Rocky Mount and Wilson, 61 in Goldsboro, 62 in Southern Pines. So it feels good out there. Our temperatures are now anywhere from 5 to 8 degrees cooler than they were this time yesterday. Earlier this morning, it was more like, 10 to almost 13 degrees cooler. Looking at 79 for the high this afternoon, really is going to feel wonderful. Our temperatures will start to creep up as we get closer to the weekend. I'll show you when we're back into some 90-degree days. I know nobody wants to see that, Ken.
Nobody wants to see that. At 8:01, traffic has definitely picked up in a lot of our major roads in Wake County. I do want to tell you about a handful of incidents that's popped up on our live traffic sensors this morning. This one just into our WRAL Traffic Center, crash on Dawson Street in the southbound lane near South Street. This is for those of you heading into the downtown area right now. You want to avoid Dawson Street and South Street just to be on the safe side. The number of alternate routes in downtown that you can take, you know that. Serious crash this morning on Trine Road in the eastbound lane near Hammond Road. We are seeing a bit of a slowdown along Hammond Road this morning. I would definitely try to avoid that. Maybe use Rock Quarry Road as an alternate route if you want to stay local and avoid the Beltline this morning. The other crash we're looking at is on Jones Sausage Road in the eastbound lane at I-40. We've seen a bit of a back and forth. Sometimes we see a bit of a slowdown that we're seeing now, and other times it's just free and clear. But keep that in mind if Jones Sausage Road is part of your morning commute heading into the capital city. Also on the triangle, look at all this. In Wake Forest, you're looking at those delays. I-87 southbound lanes, a lot of red showing up. Let's give you a quick look at some of those delay times as we first look at the I-40 westbound lanes from this camera at I-40 and Rock Quarry Road. And let's look at those delay times coming into the capital city really quickly. I want to make sure you know that you're coming in, you're looking at a 14-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest this morning.
We'll check back in with you in just a bit. We have to get out to the breaking news tracker right now where WRAL's Nick Perlin is in a neighborhood in South Raleigh. Nick, you have officially confirmed this is a death investigation underway. What else have you learned?
Well, Chris, I'm right here on Carnage Drive right here, and that's the main thing that we're still that we've learned that we're still trying to get more information on is what exactly led to that person's death. You can see behind me crime scene tape blocking off this area of Carnage Drive. It's been like this for about an hour and a half now. But I want to get you to some video from Sky 5 just so you can get a better view of what I'm seeing here. And Sky 5 was able to focus in on the backyard, and that's where they found more of this investigation taking place here. Again, we're still trying to figure out what exactly led to this and what Raleigh police are still trying to gather. As I get more information, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Reporting live in Raleigh, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
Closing arguments are today in a hearing that could have implications for more than 100 inmates on North Carolina's death row. WRAL's Laura Levine is at the Legislative Building in Raleigh this morning. Laura, Hassan Bakote's attorneys argue that he was sentenced to death due to racial bias.
And Michelle, good morning. The outcome of this case could revive about 130 cases involving inmates on death row before the Racial Justice Act was appealed back in 2013. So we know attorneys representing Hassan Buccote tell me today we can expect compelling statements to back up evidence and testimonies from social scientists and historians presented through the 2-week hearing. They've argued Buccote's case and death row sentence was tainted by racism in jury and selection and training. So Gretchen Engel, the executive director at the Center for Death Penalty Litigation, tells me she is hopeful today there will be a reckoning and that it will motivate Governor Roy Cooper to grant reductions or even pardons before his term is up.
It's the thing that skews our system in a more punitive, more racist, less humane direction. And for him to take a stand there would be really significant. And I'm hopeful that will do the right thing.
So in the best case scenario for Buccote, his sentence would be commuted to life in prison. The closing arguments begin at 10 a.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News. We're live in Raleigh.
Covering Wake County and new this morning, when children go back to school next week, more will be getting free breakfast and lunch. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is at Yates Mill Elementary School in Raleigh. Kelsey, parents will get an update today.
Chris, we're expecting for parents to get an update about school meals today. Yates Mill Elementary is one of the schools that will be offering free breakfast and free lunch to all of their students without the hassle of filling out any paperwork. About 60 Wake schools will offer free meals to all of their students this year. If your student does not attend one of these schools and you want them to receive free or discounted meals, there's an option. You must fill out a meal benefits application. Nearly 10% of Wake County households don't have enough food according to county data. We spoke with Wake County Commissioner Matt Calabria about funding for free school meals. He says they reallocated county funds to get more federal dollars to pay for this program.
We have made incremental gains over the years trying to add schools year over year, but this is the biggest jump that we have seen, at least in the last decade, if ever.
And we have a full list of the schools that will be offering free breakfast and free lunch to all of their students this year on our website, WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh. Starting at 9 o'clock tonight, the Beltline is undergoing another round of significant changes. Temporary off-ramps will be put in place for Wade Avenue and Hillsborough Street, and crews will be working to restrip the pavement on the ramps to the Beltline from Western Boulevard and Hillsborough Street. The work will create a collector lane similar to what already exists on southbound US 1 to Walnut Street. The lane will be Western Boulevard traffic getting onto I-440 East and will continue on I-440 East going toward Wade Avenue and Hillsborough Street.
Will be seamless. It is just, we're just shifting traffic so that we can keep working toward this being finalized and us being able to finish up 440.
And the ramps are expected to reopen by 5 o'clock tomorrow morning.
I want to get you a live look this morning inside the United Center in Chicago. That's where the Democratic National Convention is being held. And it was just before midnight, former President Barack Obama threw his support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. The focus of today will turn to Harris's running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. He's expected to accept the Democratic nomination tonight. Former President Bill Clinton, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and current Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg are also expected to address the convention.
In a speech that ended just before midnight, former President Barack Obama closed night 2 of the Democratic National Convention with a rousing endorsement of Kamala Harris.
We have a chance to elect someone who has spent her entire life trying to give people the same chances America gave her.
Obama also paid tribute to his former vice president, Joe Biden, in his speech, saying picking him as his running mate was one of the best decisions he made as president.
Former First Lady Michelle Obama is calling on Democrats to stand up against former President Donald Trump. In her speech last night at the DNC, she said they may feel confident now, but they need to maintain all of that all the way through Election Day.
So no matter how good we feel tonight or tomorrow or the next day, this is going to be an uphill battle. So, folks, we cannot be our own worst enemies.
The former First Lady said Trump is doubling down on misogynistic and racist lies as a substitute for real ideas and solutions.
Today, former President Donald Trump and his running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, will be in North Carolina. Trump and Vance will be in Asheboro this afternoon. They plan to talk about national security. They'll be speaking at the North Carolina Aviation Museum and Hall of Fame at 2 o'clock. Right now, you can get a breakdown of their expected talking points and analysis of Trump's stance on immigration. That's on the NC Capitol page of WRAL.com. And WRAL's Ashley Rowe will be in Asheboro for today's event. She'll bring us live reports throughout the day on WRAL News and WRAL.com.
Covering Wake County, today you can share your thoughts about how the county can better prepare for storms, flooding, and other emergencies. County leaders want public input about updates to the Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. It considers the types of dangers that exist in the county and works to reduce or prevent them. The county is hosting a virtual public meeting about it. It is tonight at 6 o'clock, and you can find a link on Wake County's website.
Happening this morning, Durham leaders will welcome the White House's National Drug Control Policy Director to discuss the overdose epidemic in the community. Dr. Rahul Gupta will meet with local law enforcement, public health, and other leaders. They'll discuss how Durham leaders address overdoses and expanding access to harm reduction strategies. The leaders will then tour the Narcan vending machine in the detention center.
A single mother is without a home after it collapsed during historic flooding in Connecticut. How she says she is moving forward this morning.
Plus, more new businesses keep coming to Southeast Raleigh, and developers are working to keep up with the housing demand, where nearly 300 new homes will go in the rapidly growing area.
And what a nice day we have in store. Our high temperatures this afternoon will be in the mid-70s to low 80s with nice low dew points. I'll show you how many more days we'll have this lovely weather.
Welcome back. 8:14 on your Wednesday morning, halfway through the week, as we look live over North Hills. A beautiful morning, a beautiful Wednesday, feeling more like fall than summertime. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner standing by. I mean, this is such a treat.
It really is. You know, we typically, get into September, especially mid to late September, and we see weather like this, but it's pretty unusual to see it in August. It happens sometimes, but it doesn't usually last, and it's certainly not going to last in this situation. So enjoy it while we have it. We had a cold front slide eastward a couple of days ago, and the humidity has dropped behind the front. We're looking at some very pleasant, cool overnight lows the next several days. We take a live look across Wake County, looking west, and you can see skies are completely clear. This is a look at some of the coolest temperatures that we saw this morning. Lewisburg dropped to 52, 54 in Roxborough, 55 Henderson, Clayton 56, 57 Wake Forest, and Fuquay-Varina at 58. So we saw 59 officially at RDU. So a very cool morning, and we may drop it even a couple more degrees for tomorrow. Our front's sliding southward. We have high pressure that's up to the north, and that has been funneling in this nice, cool, dry air from Canada. It's going to make it a nice afternoon or evening for grilling. We'll see a high this afternoon of 79, but after work, temperatures will drop on into the mid-70s, and with low humidity, you're going to want to find some sort of excuse to get outside, and that could be a good one right there. A little breezy, our northeast wind around 10 to 15 this afternoon. Yesterday, I was out on the patio, and the breeze felt very, very comfortable. We should see the same thing. These blue shaded areas are where temperatures are below normal, and of course, the yellow and orange is above normal, and watch how that starts to sneak back into our area early next week. But in the meantime, enjoy this afternoon, 79 degrees. The average is 88, so we're looking at temperatures well below normal. Look at that. The record high for this date set back in 2007 was 105. That's how hot it can be on a rare occasion this time of year. We did break that previous all-time record high this summer at 106. Checking out these temperatures, feeling much better. 80 in Southern Pines, 79 Goldsboro, 76 in South Hill. Just a beautiful afternoon, and tomorrow morning we're going to wake up to temperatures in the upper 50s. That 57 will be the coolest we've seen at RDU since June 1st. 54 in South Hill, 56 Goldsboro, 57 in Southern Pines. Almost everybody waking up to 50s for tomorrow morning, so feeling great. Tomorrow afternoon, 82 Friday, and 86 on Saturday. And then, can you believe it's the first football Friday of the season, and we're going to hold on to this nice weather at 6 p.m., 80 degrees. When those games kick off, temperatures will start to drop into the 70s, and it should feel very comfortable comfortable. But we're going to go from that 57 Thursday morning to 94 on Tuesday, and that's likely to stay the case next week through early September. Above normal temperatures are likely. The tropics are nice and quiet right now. We are in the peak of the season, but it doesn't look like we'll have any development in the next 7 days. Here's what we're looking at, though, at the end of the next 7 days. 92 on Monday, 94 on Tuesday. We'll talk more about what our dew points or humidity will be doing this week coming up. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, at 8:17, traffic has definitely picked up on the major roads in Wake County. There are a few incidents we want to bring your attention to this morning. This crash on New Bern Avenue just cleared, but you can see this lingering delays right there on those westbound lanes of New Bern Avenue. Of course, that's the belt line right now that you're seeing in terms of the traffic really picking up. A couple of incidents in the downtown area. There's a serious crash, we're told, on North Street in the eastbound lane near Dawson Street, as well as a little further up on Dawson Street near South Street. So I would avoid Dawson and South Street and Dawson and North Street this morning, just as an alternate route. You know, a lot of the alternate routes in the downtown area, particularly if you're heading that way. This is a crash on Dawson Street in the southbound lanes that we just told you about, so please try to avoid that area at all costs. Another crash we've been monitoring this morning is on Jones Sausage Road in the eastbound lane at I-40 westbound. You can see right now that has definitely cleared up. About a half hour ago, there was bumper-to-bumper traffic there on Jones Sausage Road.
All right, thanks, Ken. Former President Donald Trump says he'd consider Robert F. Kennedy Jr. playing a role in his administration if he drops out and endorses Trump.
I like him a lot. I respect him a lot. I probably would if something like that would happen.
This comes after RFK Jr.'s running mate Nicole Shanahan said on a podcast that the independent candidate is thinking about ending his 2024 presidential bid and endorsing Trump. Trump downplayed the possibility of Republican backlash from having Kennedy in his potential administration due to his previous progressive positions.
Since President Joe Biden dropped from the presidential race last month, Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign has raised nearly $500 million. That's according to two sources familiar with her funding. The $500 million threshold will likely be reached by the end of the week. One of the sources says that Democrats expect that number to go to around $600 million by the end of the month.
Newly released video captured the moments before the luxury yacht carrying a British tech tycoon sank off the coast of Italy. Take a look at this. The grainy footage here shows a strong storm battering that yacht until the mast light disappears. Officials believe the mast snapped in half and the boat lost balance. This morning, crews resumed the search for Mike Lynch and 5 others, including his daughter and 2 Americans. Officials believe they are trapped in that ship.
And the home of a Connecticut mother collapsed on Sunday. This happened during historic rain and flooding there. Randy Marcuccio said it was a typical rainy Sunday, and then things escalated. She watched helplessly as the water just kept rising. A tree took out her deck, oil tank, and the bottom half of her basement. The ground around her home eroded, and the home eventually caved in. But even though she's experienced all this, she feels thankful to have survived it.
Who am I to say anything about this when loved ones are gone? So, I have my son, I have my family, and we'll just move forward.
It'll be tough, but you're still alive. Marcuccio said that her 3-year-old son was not home with her at the time, and the current record in Burlington, Connecticut is 12.77 inches of rain back in 1955.
All right, well, we are officially 4 months from the start of winter, but winter in our area could be warmer than usual. Meteorologist Chris Michaels is here to share how winter has changed and a very early outlook for this year. We're talking about snow this morning.
Exactly. It's a way too early kind of outlook, right? But it has changed over the past 75, 50, 25, 10, and 5 years. You see how the average snow has decreased considerably over that time frame. NOAA puts out outlooks months in advance, and you know that the skill in these outlooks is limited as compared to a day-to-day forecast, but at least shows above average temperatures favored in the southeastern U.S., along with drier than average weather, more of the lake effect snow going on, especially toward the mountains of West Virginia and Tennessee. This is all because of a pattern La Nina. We've been talking about it for hurricane season, but here's what it means usually as you head into the winter. Usually the jet stream in the eastern U.S. is farther to the north. That means less storminess here, usually results results in less snow. In fact, I went back and dug into some of the data locally. 71% of winters with a La Nina feature below average snow. But there's 4 other things we have to consider that haven't even happened yet before we can even think about making a winter forecast. I'm going over those in detail right now on WRAL.com.
Snow prediction, fall-like temperatures. It's only, what, August 21st? Thanks, Chris. So these open fields right here in southeast Raleigh could soon become home to hundreds of townhomes. Developers plan to build nearly 300 of them on Whitfield Road near Rock Quarry Road. This is part of the effort to satisfy the need for housing in this rapidly growing part of Wake County. Durham-based Gander Development plans to build these homes. They say the housing boom is happening to try to keep up with the influx of new businesses coming to the area. The developers say they are working to select a national home builder, and they plan to break ground early next year. The tradition that began in 1981 continues this Friday. Football Friday. It is back for its 44th season. We will have highlights from about 25 high school football games from across our area, plus some of the best sports reporters in the state. See if your touchdown is shown this Friday at 11:35 on WRAL. Football Friday is hosted by WRAL's Chris Lee.
And coming up, you may think that humans age gradually, but a new study suggests the opposite. We'll explain next.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. We have a beautiful Wednesday morning. It feels more like fall today, Elizabeth.
It really does. The temperatures that we're going to see today definitely are more normal for mid to late September. So enjoy it while we have it. 64 in Durham and in Raleigh, 64 in Fayetteville. And look at all that sunshine. And even with that sunshine, our temperatures will be well below normal for highs today. It's still 59 in Lewisburg and Tarboro. We dropped into the low 50s in some spots this morning. It's 64 in Fayetteville and 63 in Irwin. It's going to be a beautiful day to spend some time outside. At lunchtime, 75. If you happen to be looking for some outdoor dining, temperatures will be great. Dinner time temperatures at 75 with a high of 79. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, traffic has definitely picked up on our major roads in the Triangle and Wake County and surrounding communities, the south side of the Beltline as well as the north side, I-540 as well, US 1 coming in from Wake Forest to that end. Let's give you a look at those delay times coming into the capital city this morning. You're looking at a 12-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest, if you're getting ready to head out this morning. This is just about a 3-minute delay coming in from Knightdale on I-87 South. That was up to about 5 minutes a little bit ago, but the US 1 North this in Apex has definitely gotten better over the last 45 minutes.
Thanks, Ken. You're taking a live look at Carnage Drive in Raleigh, where an apparent death investigation is underway. You can see crime scene tape blocking the road. The WRAL breaking news tracker is there as we work to learn what happened. And coming up next on Fox 50, the update Wake County Schools is giving today to prepare parents for the start of school next week. And next on Today, one-on-one with Jessica Alba on her new home renovation show.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news, an apparent death investigation is underway in a southeast Raleigh neighborhood where you are looking live right now. WRAL's Nick Perlin is on the scene working to learn what happened.
And it feels fantastic as you're stepping out the door. We're sitting at a dew point at 57, which is in the comfy zone. We could drop it on down to refreshing a little later this week. I'll show you how long we'll hold on to this nice weather.
And closing arguments are set for today in a case that could affect death row inmates in North Carolina. This morning, hear why lawmakers argue Hassan Bakote's conviction is the result of racial bias.
And free breakfast and lunch will be available for students at 20 additional Wake County schools beginning next week. The update parents will get today about school meals. This is going to help out so many families across the area. We'll talk about that coming up. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
I'm Chris Lovingood. The talk of the morning, as we have mentioned many times, it is so cool outside. Yes. I mean, just very brisk as you're walking out there, and I think even tomorrow's going to be even more so. We have Elizabeth Gardner giving you a look at your forecast before we begin.
It's absolutely gorgeous. We'll take a live look here at Wake Forest, and we're looking at lots of blue sky there. And you would think with all this sunshine that we would warm up quickly. We're going to hold our temperatures in the 70s today, which is highly unusual for this time of year. Upper 80s are our normal highs. 57 is our dew point. It feels fantastic. Our temperature in the triangle is 64 right now. It's 62 in Rocky Mount and Goldsboro, as well as Southern Pines, 64 in Fayetteville and Clinton, and still 59 up in Roxborough. Our 24-hour temperature change, about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than it was this time yesterday across the viewing area. Feeling lovely. I'll see a high of 79. And if you're going to be out and about at lunchtime, 75. And right after work, temperatures should be in the mid 70s as well. Of course, we are in the peak of the hurricane season. We're going to take a look at when we may see some activity there coming up in just a little bit. Ken?
All right, traffic picking up really on the major roads here in Wake County this morning. You can see what I'm talking about, particularly I-540. Let's look at those delay times coming in from particularly Wake Forest. You're looking at an 11-minute delay coming in on US 1. Definitely is getting better on I-87 in those southbound lanes, as well as the US 1 northbound lanes coming in from Apex and All Points South. This is what it looks like on the northern side of the Beltline. You can see the westbound lane coming towards us. You can see it's moving at a steady clip right now, but definitely you can see that congestion that we usually see this time of the morning. A couple of incidents I want to bring your attention to on Strickland Road. One is at Six Forks Road, the other one at Falls of News. Neither is causing any major problems for you this morning, but you should probably will see some police activity as well. In the downtown area, a couple of incidents on Dawson Street as well, one on South Street, one on Lenore Street. Those are intersections you definitely want to definitely avoid this morning. This crash we've been monitoring on Newbern Avenue in the westbound lane near Trawick Road. You can see not really causing any problems on Newbern Avenue, but you can see, check it out, that's the Beltline right there and the westbound lanes that we just showed you. But quick look at I-40 and Capitol Boulevard. You can see right now the traffic is moving at a steady clip in those westbound lanes.
All right, thanks, Ken. Breaking news, police are investigating in a neighborhood in South Raleigh. Nick Perlin is there in the WRAL breaking news tracker. Nick, police tape behind you. What do we know right now?
Well, Michelle, we do know that police are investigating a death that happened at some point. This is on Carnage Drive here in Raleigh, and you can see large portions of crime scene tape blocking off this area of the road. I want to get you some video from the from Sky 5, just so you can get a better view of what this looked like. And you can see Raleigh police officers focusing their investigation around this home right here. The Sky 5 also was able to find that person that had died at some point. We're still trying to figure out what exactly led to this, and again, what Raleigh police are still trying to find out. As we get more information, I'll be sure to update you. Live in Raleigh, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
Today, attorneys will give closing arguments in a case that could have implications for more than 100 inmates on North Carolina's death row. Lawyers of Hassan Bakout argue that racial bias played a role in his conviction and death penalty sentence. As WRAL's Laura Levine explains, Bakout's lawyers say his case points to a pattern of disproportionately extreme sentences for black men.
The outcome could revive about 130 cases involving death row inmates, which began before the Racial Justice Act was appealed back in 2013. Attorneys for Hassan Bakout tell me today we can expect compelling statements to back up evidence and testimonies from social scientists and historians presented throughout the 2-week hearing. They've argued Bakout's case and death row sentence was tainted by racism in jury selection and training. Gretchen Engel, the executive director at the Center for Death Penalty Litigation, tells me she is hopeful today there will be a reckoning and that it will motivate Governor Roy Cooper to grant reductions or even pardons before his term is up.
It's the thing that skews our system in a more punitive, more racist, less humane direction. And for him to take a stand there would be really significant. And I'm hopeful that he will do the right thing.
So in the best case scenario for Hassan Bakout, his sentence would be commuted to life in prison. Everything gets started around 10 o'clock this morning at the Johnson County Courthouse. WRAL will be live streaming. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Raleigh.
And covering Wake County Schools is preparing parents for the new school year, which starts in less than a week. Today, they're talking about school meals. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is at Yates Mill Elementary in Raleigh to tell us what's new.
We're expecting to get an update about school meals ahead of the first day of school next week. Yates Mill Elementary is one of the schools that's been added to the list of schools that will offer free breakfast and free lunch to all of their students without the hassle of filling out paperwork. About 60 Wake schools will offer free meals to all students this year. If your student does not attend one of these schools and you want them to receive free or discounted meals, there's an option. You must fill out a meal benefits application. Wake County Commissioner Matt Calabria says this is the largest expansion for this program in years. Calabria says they reallocated county funds to get more federal dollars to pay for free school meals. Nearly 10% of Wake County households don't have enough food, according to county data.
We don't ever want a family that's working class or that's struggling to have to make tough choices between food and medicine and paying the bills. And so taking a real significant cost off the table for them makes a world of difference.
We have a full list of the schools that will offer free meals for all of their students on our website, WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Day 2 of the Democratic Convention wrapped up just before midnight with former President Barack Obama laying out what's at stake in the 2024 election from the Democrats' perspective. As we head into the third day of the convention, the focus will shift to Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate, Tim Walz. The Minnesota governor is expected to accept the Democratic nomination today. The theme for today's event is a fight for our freedoms. Former President Bill Clinton, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and current Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg are also expected to address the convention.
Former President Barack Obama criticized former President Donald Trump during his keynote address last night at the DNC. In a speech that ended just before midnight, Obama said America needs to vote for Kamala Harris to move the country in the right direction.
We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling and chaos. We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse.
In his speech, Obama also listed Harris's accomplishments as California Attorney General and then as Vice President. He said that she helped take on drug companies, the high price of insulin, and high health care costs. And coming up in 10 minutes, here the moment former First Lady Michelle Obama slammed former President Trump and his comments about black jobs during her speech last night at the DNC.
Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff also took the stage, and he shed some personal light on his wife. Emhoff shared how Vice President Kamala Harris came into his life and then told the nation that she will bring both joy and toughness to the task.
Kamala is a joyful warrior. It's doing for her country what she has always done for the people that she loves. Her passion will benefit all of us when she's our president.
Vice President Harris posted this photo of her watching Doug Emhoff's speech while traveling back to Chicago. In the social media post, she wrote, "Love you, Dougie."
And as the second night of the DNC was wrapping up, pro-Palestinian protesters and police were clashing just miles away. Multiple people were arrested last night outside of the Israeli consulate in Chicago after police say the group charged at a line of officers. Earlier in the evening, some demonstrators set an American flag on fire in the street. Others carried Palestinian flags, while many others wore black and covered their faces.
Today, former President Donald Trump and his running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, will be in North Carolina. Trump and Vance will be in Asheboro this afternoon, and they plan to talk about national security. They'll be speaking at the North Carolina Aviation Museum and Hall of Fame at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Right now, you can get a breakdown of their expected talking points and an analysis of Trump's stance on immigration on the NC Capitol page at WRAL.com. And just so you know, WRAL's Ashley Rowe will be in Asheboro for today's event. She will bring us live reports throughout the day on WRAL News and on WRAL.com. Time is 8:40 this morning. An inspection of all Boeing 787 Dreamliners have been ordered by the FAA. The incident that happened in March involving a captain's seat that caused a plane to plunge 400 feet.
Plus, Alicia Silverstone left fans feeling clueless about her well-being after a recent TikTok video. The update the star shared after she ate a mysterious fruit.
And do not forget about Wilson. We didn't. We're showing you this morning a live look at the Wilson Whirligig Park. They're pretty active. We're getting a taste of fall this morning, that brisk breeze pushing those whirligigs. Just ahead, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will tell us how long the cooler temperatures will last.
8:43 on this gorgeous morning. We're taking a live look at downtown Raleigh. You can see a little bit breezy here. We're looking down Fayetteville Street, and you can see the tree moving around. So we're going to see just some pleasant breezes coming out of the northeast at about 10 to 15 miles per hour today. Gorgeous sunshine down Fayetteville Street as we take a look down toward Memorial Auditorium. Lots of sunshine out there for us this morning, and it feels great. Temperature 64 degrees. Dew point's way down at 57. That makes it feel very comfortable. We take a look at this gorgeous photo from Amy Telega, who is our weather watcher there, sent us this one from Morehead City. Beautiful rainbow. We would love to see your photos as well. Go to WRAL.com, search weather watchers, and we'll throw some of those up on TV. 79 today in Durham and Raleigh, 82 in Fayetteville. Just a beautiful day in our forecast. Perfect weather to eat your lunch outside or spend time outside somehow during your lunch hour. 75 degrees way over there on good. Yes, definitely get out if you can. A short break from the heat ends by the time we get to, say, Sunday and Monday, but 88 is our normal high. We'll be well below that at least through Friday, and then over the weekend temperatures will gradually begin to creep up a little bit. Lovely mornings on tap as well. 57 for tomorrow morning, and the morning lows even Sunday and Monday will still be in the mid 60s. That's going to feel fairly comfortable compared to our average lows this summer, which have been in the low 70s, which just feels really warm and sticky even first thing in the morning. Nothing warm and sticky about our muggy meter, dropping way down to refreshing tomorrow morning. Now by the time we get to Sunday and Monday, we're creeping back up into a little bit of a muggy zone. You can see where the moisture is right now. The green shaded area is where it's muggiest, and of course where we are, that high pressure system's been in control of our weather. We're going to see the mugginess kind of start to creep in on us by the time we get to Monday and Tuesday. However, a fun event over the weekend. You're going to need something to do to get outside. Packapalooza is a fun NC State festival that happens on Hillsborough Street starting at 2 on Saturday, lasting until 10 o'clock. Some great music there. Temperatures will be in the mid 80s at the warmest during the afternoon. Speaking of warm, we've had 58 days at 90 degrees or higher so far this year. The average up to this point is 37. The last normal 90-plus day happens on September 12th. So that's about 3 weeks from now, but in some cases it's later than that. The latest, October 10th, 2017. So enjoy this nice little taste of fall. It doesn't last too long. By Monday and Tuesday, we're back into the low 90s, and there's some indications that it will stay very summer-like through the Labor Day holiday.
Oh, it's fun. All right, so it is almost time for traditional school to start up again. And one of the biggest hurdles families face is getting back into a regular sleep schedule. WRAL Lifestyle Editor Kathy Hanrahan is here with some tips to help make that transition a bit easier. So what you got, Kathy?
Okay, getting kids to go to bed is a challenge anyway, especially during summer vacation. But you know, the back to school time means getting back into that regular routine. We talked with some sleep experts, and they recommend some tips you can start doing right now to get you ready for next week. So first, you want to start about a week before school starts, and you want to get your children to go to bed earlier each night and wake up earlier each morning, just a little bit earlier each time, and that'll kind of make it a little easier for them.
Look, I've been bad lately, and I've been staying up way too late, so I fixed that and started going to sleep early, which is good. So how can you make getting up early into a fun process for kids?
It's hard. It's very hard. For those final mornings of summer, experts are saying you should plan a special breakfast, a fun outing, or even a family hike. Make it a fun experience so they have something to look forward to when they're waking up.
So you're a mom. How much sleep do children typically need?
Oh, it all depends on their age. Okay, preschoolers ages 3 to 5, they need about 10 to 13 hours a day. School-age children 6 to 13 need 9 to 11 hours. Teens 14 to 17 need about 8 to 10 hours. Of course, parents, we need about 20 hours of sleep.
Yeah, Michelle's looking off camera because she knows she needs a couple of extra winks of sleep. So is there such a thing as too much sleep for kids?
Now, most children don't get enough sleep anyway, but in rare cases, children are oversleeping. They say sleeping more than 10 hours a night and napping 48 hours a day. That can be, you're falling asleep a lot. That can be something you need to follow up with a pediatrician.
Yeah, it could be something else going on there. Yeah. Never a bad idea, right? And for more on this family-friendly information and the event that's going on there, make sure you tune in to WRAL News. And of course, go to WRAL.com and just search the word family. Thanks, Kathy.
Former First Lady Michelle Obama directly confronted former President Donald Trump in her speech last night at the Democratic National Convention. She addressed his repeated use of the term black jobs.
I want to know who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs.
The former First Lady addressed the way Trump treated her and her husband, saying his, quote, limited and narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by successful people who happen to be black.
And Michelle, Governor Roy Cooper is also at the DNC in Chicago. He spoke with CNN and said that he believes Kamala Harris can win North Carolina come November.
I have that 2008 feeling, and people in North Carolina know what that means because we participated in the historic election of Barack Obama. That was the last time we voted for a Democratic presidential candidate.
And Cooper said Harris understands people's concerns about paying too much at the grocery store and for childcare. And he also said she is ready to do something about it.
A new setback for Boeing. The FAA will require all 787 Dreamliner cockpit seats to be inspected. It's because of one of the jets that went into a dive when the captain's seat lurched forward without warning. The seat's movement caused the autopilot to disconnect. The plane dropped about 400 feet. That happened back in March on a flight from Australia to New Zealand. More than 50 passengers were hurt.
A cargo ship in Argentina waters will be inspected and quarantined because of a crew member showing signs of Mpox. A spokesperson for Argentina's health ministry says the Border Health Service will carry out this inspection. Ship tracking services show the vessel is anchored in a river in Argentina. Its previous stop was in Brazil. The ship will stay in that harbor with the crew quarantine until results of Mpox tests are available.
Well, there's evidence that humans actually don't age gradually. Researchers found on a molecular level, humans age in two major boosts at the ages of 44 and 60. The findings are based on more than 100 people studied over several years. And one bottom line from the study says that people getting close to 60 should keep a close watch on carb intake and drink enough water to maximize kidney functions.
United Airlines is helping college football fans travel to see their favorite teams. The airline is adding 20 nonstop flights and flying larger planes to 30 of the most anticipated college football games this season. Those include Louisiana State versus University of Southern California in September. That's going to be Georgia versus Texas in October, and then Alabama versus Oklahoma in November.
Tonight, the women's volleyball teams from Duke and North Carolina Central will hit the court for a special cause. The exhibition game tonight, called the Battle for Bull City, is also part of a fundraising competition. They are competing to see which team can get the most people to make a donation to the Boys and Girls Club of Durham and Orange counties. The game is happening at 6 o'clock tonight at NCCU's McLendron Arena. The fundraising effort continues through the end of the month.
On Saturday, the Carolina Panthers will take on the Buffalo Bills in their final preseason game of the year. You can watch all the action from Highmark Stadium on WRAL starting at 1 p.m. Lil Jon pumped up the delegates at the DNC with a new rendition of Turn Down for What and Get Low. Democrats were treated to this for their convention roll call vote last night. The rapper's surprise performance happened before Georgia cast its vote. This year's roll call was strictly ceremonial. That's why states leaned on popular songs such as Beyonce's Texas Hold'em for Texas and Raise Up by Greenville, North Carolina rapper and producer Petey Pablo. Travis Kelce is taking his talents to the big screen. The Kansas City Chiefs tight end is in talks to star in the action comedy movie Loose Cannons. The movie is being produced by the series director for John Wick. Production likely won't start anytime soon because that's the start of the NFL season within 2 weeks. This will be his third role. He's also set to host Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity and will appear in Ryan Murphy's Grotesquerie later this year.
Beyonce is venturing into the liquor industry. The superstar is releasing her own line of luxury whiskey. It's called Sir Davis in collaboration with Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy. The brand was named in honor of her great-grandfather, who was a moonshiner in the South. This is one of her latest business ventures she released with her hair care line Sacred last year. The new whiskey will be available in September.
Alicia Silverstone says she's okay after she gave fans quite a scare. On Monday, the clueless star posted a video to TikTok. She was asking for help to identify a mysterious fruit she had eaten from a bush in London. Fans quickly identified it as a Jerusalem cherry, a slightly poisonous fruit. She went almost a full day without posting, and then fans got concerned. But she shared a picture on Instagram last night with the caption, "Alive and well." I would not recommend eating things you don't know what they are.
If you don't know what it is, just walk away.
Probably a smart idea.
Glad she's okay, though.
And I'm glad she's okay.
Yeah.
And before we go to break, here's a quick look at your winning lottery numbers.